what if you don't do your part? And let them have a discussion about that. And you'll notice a lot of the prompts in here are thinking about, why might somebody be doing that? So instead of getting into a group and maybe being frustrated because others aren't doing their work, we're trying to give them a tool to relate to that person and begin to have a discussion. I mean, that's a big nut, right? We probably all struggle with that too in groups that we work with every day. But how can you have that conversation? And then the third one is about being bossy. And the questions of, why would someone be bossy? What can you do to work with this bossy person? And here's a group, I love this one. Do you think being bossy and being a leader are the same thing? And the thought here to wrap it all up is, notice in the bottom of the page, notice that everything we just talked about involved empathy. In order to work in a group, we really need to actively take another person's perspective to figure out what's going on for them and how we can work better together. Any questions about that? Okay.
So on that one, if they don't have the PowerPoint up, you wouldn't suggest holding up the paper, would you, or would you?
I don't know. Do you think my
I think just
instinct
ask
is
the
they wouldn't be
question.
able to see it.
Yeah, we have ours.
Or even write it
projected,
on the whiteboard. If you have
True,
room on
if
the
you have the
whiteboard.
time.
If you have time. All right, now the next section is setting them up. This isn't a long one. This is just to sort of plant the seeds, to set them up for doing the tower activity again. And that's their last exercise. So, let me find the slide here. All right, so now we're going to talk about what makes up successful teams. So, what?
Page 6.
Yes. So what is successful teamwork really? In the first round, you were working in a group. You got the job done, but not with each other's best interests at heart or the goal in mind. Building a real team takes a mindset of cooperation and hard work. Teams are actively made. It's not just a matter of gathering the smartest. I think this is a great message. Thank you, Anna Maria, for all of us. It's not just a matter of gathering the smartest or most experienced or even the most creative people. It is the attitudes of everyone involved going into the project that is key. Now you're going to show 2 slides. What do successful teams require? And as usual, try to find ways to engage the kids as much as possible in their own learning. So if you have somebody that could read this first one off to the class, that's great. Just hearing a voice other than yours drone on is good. So it talks about collaboration, open-mindedness, shared leadership, focus, and respect.
And I'd even practice standing up, because part of it is, stand up and say it's good to practice standing up.
You can ask them if they're comfortable.
Yeah.
Persuasiveness, reliability, flexibility, and common goals. And then the next slide, now that you've touched on these, is to put this up during, that's not it. Sorry, I went the wrong way. Here we go. To put it up, so they have these things in mind. Now they're going to keep this in mind while they do the tower activity. Again, there's no assigning roles. They get back into their groups and you give them the 3 minutes and they think about this while they build the tower. And then
Okay, without any roles,
without their roles, they decide what they're going to do.
Okay.
And their goal is to build the tallest tower. Now, I just had this thought. It just hit in my head, but God, wouldn't it be awesome if like one of the groups, their tower was significantly shorter than it was last time, but their response was, well, I noticed that Anna Maria and Shaitali weren't comfortable taking their shoes off, so we decided to make the tower short. this like that. So wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah. I love
look
how
for
that
things
relates
like
back
that.
to attitude, right, and intention. If your purpose, like maybe the second time is more fun, right?
Yeah.
And that can be your purpose.
Right.
That can be your attitude. What's my goal here? Yeah.
So, I would add one thing. Like, I was listening to one talk the other day, and they were saying that in order to have innovations in the company, they have to support all the failures too. Like, they have to accept all the failures.
Yes.
And that's what helps you grow and innovate more. So that everybody, each team member is comfortable knowing that even if he fails, it's not a big deal for the company.
Yes.
So maybe something like that we can
Yeah.
relate to that if the tower comes out shorter than the earlier one.
Yeah, yeah.
Can I
Thank you.
understand the intention here? So when they did the activity the first time round, some group obviously got the tallest tower.
Mm-hmm.
What does that group learn from doing it again?
The
Or
first
what does
time-
what? See, because the note says, would the outcome be different? What if some group says, well, we followed your teamwork principles and now our tower is shorter? I thought the goal was not to focus on the end result, but how you went through this activity. Right?
Right.
And the outcome might be a failure per se, or a change from how they did it the first
Yeah.
time round, because the boss just did it all, or whoever was the person who did it all just did it all.
Yeah.
And now, after incorporating teamwork principles, it's possible that no one does anything because everyone's waiting for someone else to do something, right? And you see what I'm saying? Like the
Yeah.
outcome could be completely
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
But at least they're not
Absolutely.
acting. That's the thing.
Yeah.
They're not acting a
I-
role. Maybe
yeah.
they'll just be aware of, usually I try to do it myself, but this time I just hung back and listened to other
Yeah.
people's ideas. Even if it's not taller,
Right.
then it's like you realize that, wow, there's different ways of working as a group. Just, some self-realization.
I think my suggestion for the second time round is to take away from the goal here, which is to build the tallest tower.
Right.
Because they built the tallest tower they could in the first time round.
Right.
And I just feel like the outcome might be different than I want to take away from the achieving the result versus how you guys
Right.
interacted.
Building the tallest tower rather than anything else, and then they feel that we didn't build the big tower, so what's the point, right? So
But what is the success?
exactly, yeah.
What
So how
else
do you
is the
define
takeaway?
success there?
Yeah. I hear what you guys are saying. I can see it going that way.
Yeah.
Just to supply a counter argument, although I could see it both ways. The difficulty in working on a team, often, especially in that short time period, can come from working towards a common goal or having to get to something. So the challenge for them is, how do I use these tools of a successful team and still achieve the goal?
Yeah.
So the real challenge is doing both at the same time.
So we can build
And-
a tower. Sorry,
Yeah.
just jumping.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is to build a tower, but need not label it as the tallest tower. But the experience of building a tower where one person is a boss, one person has got one role, versus building it as a team. What was the difference? Because if you label it as build the tallest, then the exercise is different.
Well, the first time their challenge is to build the tallest. So what we're trying to do is keep everything the same,
Yeah.
except
Yeah.
their
Participation.
their group dynamics.
Yeah.
And you can
There-
even
And
tell them,
how
yeah,
did-
the
and-
tower doesn't matter.
And notice how does it change?
Because they love that when you say something
Yeah.
that's like, there's no prize for winning the tallest tower. It's just how
Yeah.
you feel
When-
when
so-
you do it.
The reality is when the teachers do give them a team project, there is an end goal. And so I think the idea is to stay with the idea of schoolwork. Okay, you do have an end goal every time, but how you approach it as a team participant is so important in actually getting to that goal. So the goal is constant, the process
I think it's more
changes.
to prepare them for their real life experience that they're doing every day right now of having to produce some results, some schoolwork, some paper, some project, some picture as a group.
As a group.
And they still have to produce it.
I think the point would be at the end to say, you know, in this round, yeah, we kept the goal because like a school project would be, there's going to be an end result. But the feeling of how you went through it and maybe the different decisions you made based on what you now know about how people can be, because that's what it's all about, the relationship between the people, noticing. So I think you can just, if you just wrap it up with that's what the experience is, what we want you to get from this. Don't focus on your tower being the tallest.
Which is a great segue to the closing.
Oh, true.
Closing
Before we
comment.
go there, are there any more questions about the closing activity?
Does that seem like it still makes sense then? It's still the same, like you gotta keep all the factors the same, there is an end result. And then
Everything
you're
stays the same except the way
concluding-
that they work in the
Right.
group.
Would it be a good idea to mix up the group at this point? Have them work with a different group to to change it up a little bit, because I feel like the groups already work
Think about
together
that.
once.
What do you guys think? We didn't think about that. It's interesting.
I don't know if you have time.
And just let them know now you don't have to act up, and I won't necessarily focus on the height of measuring the height of the tower, and rather just go into the discussion, the questions that we have.
Okay, but that might just be a time constraint.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can think of. I would probably say there's probably not time. Keep the same group and go ahead. If it works with a different group, try it out and let us know.
So our goal is that the kids understand the difference in approaches, right? One where a person has a specific role
Yes.
versus where it's a collaborative team. So I think you should probably leave it up to, we can decide at that moment whether you want to focus on the height of the tower, or you can just say that build a tower. There's no need to measure and say, and so how was the difference then and versus now? Let them build a tower again as a group versus when each person had, a boss and a follower and things like that. And ask them what were the differences then and now. They can still have the goal of building a tower, no doubt.
So what's the difference between the two?
The one where there is specific roles, right? One is a boss, and the boss decides,
That's what we have.
everybody else follows. But in the last one, where after all the discussion we are talking about, it's a collaborative. Nobody is a boss now, right?
Oh, yeah, that's how it's laid out currently.
Right. So
There
there's
are no
boss.
roles.
There are no
They
roles.
just go do their thing.
Yeah.
With their new.
Right. So it's like Atul said, it's possible that when there is a leader, they might have built the taller tower. Because sometimes that's how things work. You need somebody to lead. So, but probably there were more tensions then. Some people didn't like it, but now everybody likes it. So, like Atul said, if you focus on the height of the tower, we might lose the real goal is for them to recognize what happens when the approach is different.
The reason why I said mix it up is because there might be some tendency to again look at the person holding the boss card in the first time round to say, okay, do we just go down? Do we do the same thing?
I mean, we could make it more clear that now you're doing it without the roll cards. You're just
They would be
using,
in
I was
the
just
box.
seeing if it says it in there, because, yeah, maybe make that a clear, no roll cards now, just you have these tools right here. Here they are, collaboration, open mind. So hold these and,
It says
Build.
this time without the roll cards.
okay.
Yeah.
I think in any kind of experiment, if you change so many factors, you cannot see the effect of that result.
And I think logistically also,
It takes the kids a long time to move themselves over to the same group, and you counter them out again, and
Especially in eighth grade.
yeah.
Transition
In
time.
sixth grade, they just take their own time to.
Yeah.
So I was just saying, emphasize that to the kids. I know it's written here this time without the roll cards. Tell the kids, okay guys, this time without the roll cards. So no rolls, erase those. Here's the tools for great teamwork. And I think what's coming up for me is something that is great is how you end up feeling. If I'm on a team, but I don't feel good, I don't care if I've got the tallest tower. You know how you go and you play a family game at home and someone's so competitive that it's just not fun anymore, or maybe they don't like it.